Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, January 7th, and the time is 6:29 p.m., and I'd like to call this meeting to order. First up is our consent agenda and meeting. First is minutes from December 17th from 2024. Has everyone had a chance to read them?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions, comments, corrections?
Liz raised her hand.
Okay, go ahead, Liz.
I'm sorry, Jen, and I know I've made this a bit more complicated than you're used to, but only because I'm here remote, we need a roll call.
Okay, so can I have
Silly me. Sorry about that.
Okay. Jen?
what are we roll calling for? Just
Just
for every
you have
vote?
to roll call so folks know that somebody's
Okay, so
attending virtually. It's just one of the areas that I happen to train people in, so I should be following the rules myself.
okay, but I like usually just who's present then, because usually when we do a roll call, it's for a vote, and there is no vote. So
Yeah, it's both to let everyone in who might be watching know who's present. So a roll call just to let everybody know who's there, including me, and roll call votes.
okay, so we'll have a roll call for.
Thank you.
Yep,
Jen?
here.
Mike?
Present.
George?
Present.
And Liz?
Here. Thank you.
Back to minutes for December 17th. Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Hearing none, may I have a motion?
Make a motion to accept minutes as written from December 17th, 2024.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Can I have a roll call vote?
Jen?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Liz?
Yes.
Next, we have 3 warrants, 38, 40, and 41, which have gone around for signature for those that are present. Any questions or comments on those warrants? Hearing none, I'll take the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve warrants 38, 40, and 41.
Second.
I need a roll call vote, please.
Jen?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Liz?
Yes.
Visitors.
Thank you for making those so clear and easy to understand.
Sure thing. Visitors' comments. Any citizen wishing to speak before the committee must sign in with the administrative assistant prior to the opening of the regular session of the school committee. The visitor will identify themselves by name and address and shall speak for no longer than 3 minutes. For anyone unable to sign in ahead of time, we ask that you clearly state your name and address so that this information can be included in the record for the meeting. Any visitors? Seeing none, we'll move along. Student representative, Cole, you're up.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Yes, and you as well. I mean, I'm sure your breaks were very different from mine. I'm sure a lot of you still had to work. I had a very good break. I appreciated that. None of my teachers gave me any homework. I got to spend the time. Spending time with friends and family, during the holidays, and working a little bit myself to make some money. But as for academic updates at the high school, semester 1 closes on January 21st. Semester 2 begins on January 22nd. The 2025 to 2026 school year was, the schedule was created and guidance will be entering course offerings and creating course selection sheets. The John and Abigail recipients, which I'm proud to be one of, the Adams Scholarship. Oh, wait. It says it will be announced Friday.
That's all right.
There will be a light breakfast to celebrate maybe it'll be announced publicly, to our students the following week.
You had to be invited in order to know that you're going, so.
I got us to worship. I'd have to look at it again, but I thought that's what it was. I thought it said Adam somewhere.
You're awesome, Cole.
The Project 351 ambassador facilitated a toiletry drive in collaboration with Granby to Go. The Student Advisory Council reconvened today after school. Students will review programming for the remainder of the advisory lessons. The PBIS program continues to be a hit for the junior high school students. The parking spot giveaways continue to be for the upperclassmen. I did not get that yet. I would tell you. Next attendance competition winners will win a pancake breakfast, and I've seen the board outside my office. My grade is not doing too well. So,
Senioritis is kicking in.
yeah, I don't blame them. The Fast Fun Night, which I mentioned previously, will be held on January 30th at 6 p.m. in the cafe. All families are welcome. And for future plans and goals, the quote unquote Project Selfie, end quote, is a presentation by the Hampshire Advocacy Center and will take place for students in grades 9 and 10. The lesson will be embedded in wellness classes. And I was told briefly about this. It's basically just online safety and, watching what we do online, being conscious in your decisions, stuff like that. And I was not able to get a hold of Mrs. Descharlet, so that is about it for me.
Excellent. Any questions or comments for Cole?
Well done.
Thank you.
Cotillion is not this week, but next week,
Next week,
the 18th. Yep.
casino theme, which there is no gambling at the casino. It's more just for a
Yeah.
casino royale.
Yeah.
Dice and all that.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much, Cole. Appreciate it.
All right. So next time, I'll see you all.
All right. Okay, next we have reorganization of subcommittees. With the departure of Jill and the addition of Liz, we need to check in on our subcommittees. So Liz, Jill was on the CES collaborative subcommittee, as well as policy, and what was the other one?
Evaluation.
An evaluation. Do you have any interest in any of those?
I could do policy and evaluation. I'm not sure that I could try CES, but that would just be adding another meeting to my already sort of meeting-filled evening schedules.
Okay,
If nobody else is able to take it, I would do my best, but
They might be remote to CES.
no, she usually goes, or she usually went. I know that it's not something that I can take on. We can table it until later and see if there's a way that's, if there is any kind of remote aspect to it, I might be able to do it that way, but I can't get anywhere else with what I've got on my plate.
do we know when they typically meet? Do they have a standard meeting?
I believe it's typically the last Wednesday of the month, but there is some fluctuation depending upon holidays and different things that they have going on. But I know it's typically always a Wednesday.
Okay, so let me take a look at my calendar, and by the next meeting, I will be able to have a better idea of what that looks like, last Wednesday of the month.
Okay, excellent. So we will
Thank you.
table CES until the next meeting. And then for subcommittees, do either of you have any interest in changing the subcommittees that you sit on?
I'm pretty comfortable.
Okay, great. So we will need to vote on adding Liz to policy and evaluation, two separate subcommittees. So if there's no further discussion, I'll take the motion to add Liz to those
Was it for policy and,
for the policy subcommittee and the evaluation subcommittee.
okay. I'll make a motion to add Liz LaFond onto the policy and superintendent evaluation subcommittees.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Jen,
Aye.
Mike,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Liz.
Yes, and thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna skip the CES and as I stated, and we'll push that to the next meeting.
You know what time of day that?
It's typically in the evening. I can reach out to Jill and find out. She probably has the schedule because she was on up until the end of December, so she probably has the January schedule. So I'll send her.
Reach out to the collaborative myself too.
Oh, sure.
To Todd.
But we'll try to figure that out, and we'll push that to the next time. All right, moving right along. School choice, the enrollment dashboard.
You're holding steady at 678. Oh, haven't had any change since October. No moves in, no moves out, so.
Good and bad, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Anything further on the enrollment dashboard? Okay, we're on to the school calendar. Do you want to come up here? So do you want to talk about the feedback first from?
Sure. So, thank you again for letting, the association members give some feedback. It was good actually going through the questions with you, Jen, before we left. And then making sure that we had them right so we could get them out as soon as we could. And then we got it over to Jenny. So, the questions are, it looks like, hold on, I have to look at this. I have to look at it while I'm doing this. So it looks like the majority of staff who participated with 54 responses wanted to start school on a Wednesday with no half day on that Friday before Labor Day. So that was their feedback. When it came to the other question about the half day of school on the 23rd versus a full day, it looked like a half day was more favorable. When it came to the half day versus full day before Thanksgiving, it appears that half day is what the majority of the members that participated in that question wanted. And then the
I'm
good,
surprised at that one, honestly.
yeah, I don't know what to tell you. And then, and what was interesting too is that sometimes when we ask for feedback, a lot of times we'll get personal emails and we didn't hear anything. So I guess that was good. You know, it's clear. We also made it very, we let them know that this feedback is just feedback and that it's not permanent as well. All right. And then the last question was about the Good Friday. And it looked like 60% of those that responded, which was 55, wanted Good Friday off. Now, the only thing that I did not capture was if these were all teachers, if they were paras, like I don't know where the heavy, like where a majority of these votes are coming from, but everybody was reached out to twice. And, those that provided us information are the ones that are giving you the feedback.
So 55 responses out of a membership of?
I knew you were going to ask that.
32.
I think so.
So that's,
Is that the whole district though?
I don't know.
I think our MTA, I don't think we pay for that many with MTA.
do you know?
Not the MPA versus.
Right. I think so.
So
I can get that information.
I'm
I
just
would
curious, did it go, is it 55 out of, 132 emails that got sent out? Or do we know, can we tell how many people it got sent to?
So no, the way that unless Dave knows, I don't know. The way that I sent it out was I sent it out like East Meadow teachers, high school teachers.
Just teachers or to the East Meadow School?
No, I sent it to the different address sections that you have, and then you have paras at East Meadow and you have paras at the high school. And then I did do the secretaries or the administrative assistants. I apologize. I did them separate. So I don't know if you know what the counts are for those.
Some of the people appear in both groups too, so I'd have to break.
Oh.
So the East Meadow group's 109 and
60 teachers.
So we're at like 120, 100.
Oh, you have.
junior, senior high school group is 92. But again, there's a lot of overlap.
Okay. I can try to reach out to Becky.
I'm just curious because it's.
No, I get you.
We're trying to
Yeah.
be more inclusive, trying to capture the feedback, and the number seems surprisingly low for something that there was
Yes.
there was some contention with last time. So I'm just wondering where the driver is for that. I don't want to. Yeah.
Yep. All right. I'm actually reaching out to her right now to see if she might know because she's our treasurer.
Okay.
So she would have that up to
Excellent.
information.
Okay. So any
Liz raised her hand.
Oh, go ahead, Liz. Sorry, I forget to just Just
hear it.
yeah, Bello.
Oh,
You're on mute.
Muted.
Were district administrators included in the email, or is this, we're talking about, other staff positions?
This
Okay,
was
thank you.
only staff positions because we had a last for this year's current school calendar, we had some questions and answers and about it. We had some dialogue, and then there was from the teacher side there was some people that were unhappy. So we decided to include the union on this discussion, make sure that we have got some feedback, making sure that it's understood, as Kristen said, that it is just feedback, that we as a school committee are making the final decision, but we want to make sure that we're not making the decision in a vacuum. Is that fair?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very great. So we have the two versions of the calendar, and based on the feedback that we have, it looks like the one with the Wednesday start of school aligns with the
Majority.
of the feedback, with the exception of the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We had that as an off day, and then we had Good Friday was also listed as off. I know personally I like the Wednesday off for Thanksgiving.
I think they asked for Good Friday off.
We did ask.
Yeah, but I was surprised they were saying the majority wanted a half day off before Thanksgiving. So we just need to calculate if we were to incorporate those things, are we still within our?
We are. I worked with, my biggest concern was the elementary school, but I sat with Brad early in the week. We're fine. We're absolutely fine.
We don't have vote on the agenda, so we can't vote on it this time. Does anyone have any questions or comments on the calendar dates as we have them, incorporating the feedback, or just taking one of these versions?
And then moving that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I think the starting on a Wednesday is probably better for the little kids.
Yeah.
5 days after summer might be tall order. Yeah, and I think a lot of people travel the day before Thanksgiving. We'll have a high absentee rate if maybe we do the half day. Something to consider.
And I know sometimes we look at surrounding calendars, and that's typically a day Belchertown has, so it would be a
half day.
it would be a substitute
Could be,
situation potentially as well, right? Any other comments or thoughts?
No.
We just have to be mindful when we do the calendar of the June 19th, because that brings everybody into the following week.
Well, as I'm reading this with the dates, it doesn't appear that we would we need,
No, we'd probably be okay if we went the half day. I just wanted to be aware of that.
if we went the half day before Thanksgiving, we would be able to be,
The 18th would be our last day.
18th would be the last
But
day.
if we took the 23rd, which is being proposed as a day off, I know you guys did, but as part of the feedback that we got, then that would push us back to the 22nd.
Right.
The 23rd of
December.
December 23rd. Is
That
that
was in the survey results.
okay? A half day school.
Yeah, I thought we were looking at proposal 1. You're right, Todd. Yep.
So, all right, so we would add in back a half day on the 23rd, right? Or no?
We have a full day of school the 23rd right now in our calendar.
So if we did a half day, does that would push us back?
No.
No.
Not.
No, it was one of the pieces of feedback that's in the survey was to have the 23rd off.
Right. And then, but majority said they would prefer a half day.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
We can do that.
Yeah,
So-
so the half day you could.
So if we did the half day, it still counts. We're still,
We wouldn't touch
Wouldn't touch
the final day with the 5 snow days. It wouldn't affect that date.
all right. So Jenny, could you make a version 3 of the calendar incorporating the feedback dates? And then we'll put it on the next meeting for a vote?
Yep.
And once we have it, if you could send it out to us, we can make sure it looks like the way we're thinking, and then we can have that for a vote for next time.
Is that possible to ask Jenny to send Michelle as well as myself a copy of that new
Sure.
created one?
Yep.
Okay, that would be nice. Thank you.
I don't think we'll be going out for any additional feedback. It's just incorporating
No.
the feedback that we
Right.
have, but you can see what it looks like.
Correct. So, when you guys vote on it at your next meeting, would you be voting between a calendar that incorporates the
So
feedback?
yeah, we'll have 3 total proposals.
You'll have 3.
Proposal 1, proposal 2, and this proposal
Yep.
3, which is incorporating feedback.
Perfect.
For me, I'm a visual person. I'd like to see how they all look.
I
with
agree.
Half days noted, the
Yep.
days that were, just all said and done, what proposal 3 looks like, incorporating the feedback. And then we can make a decision, and it will be up to the 4 of us.
Yep.
Between 1, 2, or 3.
Absolutely. I just
Fair?
wanted to make sure I was clear on that so I could let membership know.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other comments or questions on school calendar? Anything else that we want to make sure that is included in proposal 3? Any reasons that we'd like to strike either one of these from the voting process? Hearing none, we will move along.
I just have one more thing to add because Rebecca just got back to me. She says that when it comes to MTA, it's plus or minus 10 when out of 100. So we have about 100. So 110, 90. It
Okay.
fluctuates.
So 55 is about half.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right, so we'll add that to the agenda for next time and make sure it's noted as a vote.
Are the colors okay? I
Yeah.
changed the colors a little bit.
Yep, I think that's fine. Anybody have any questions or I was the one that made us think about the colors. So. I was using my old ones. Yeah, that looks better to me. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Thanks so much. So we'll revisit this next time and we'll make sure it's noted for a vote. Okay. Superintendent search for the brochure and just superintendent search in general. Someone bring me, I've kind of lost where we're at.
There. Sure.
Okay. Has this changed any from the last time that did we have any changes from last time for the brochure?
The only thing is adjusting what's the last part of it, with the contact information and everything
Right.
was the main part that we had to iron out before posting.
Okay, great. And does anyone have any other questions? Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Questions or thoughts on the brochure? Liz?
Yeah, I have a couple. And again, because I do this all the time, under qualifications, the minimum of 10 years in education, including teaching, central office, and or administrative experience. I'm wondering if the committee intends that teaching experience, some amount of time of teaching experience would be required. Or is the committee of a mind that if someone with only administrative experience applied, that would be a viable candidate?
I think that's how we've had it. That's how I was reading it, and I know that we'll have a sort of like a group that looks at the resumes and do that initial vetting. So,
Well, there are candidates out there, not knowing who would apply, but I know there are candidates interested in becoming superintendent that do not have teaching, classroom teaching experience. I tend to not be a big fan of that, right? Because, well, teaching and learning is what schools are about. And I will certainly go with the will of the committee here, but when the time comes to look seriously at voting on candidates, I would give someone with experience in the classroom a closer look than I would somebody who had not had classroom experience.
and I think that that's fair, but I also want to make sure that we don't cut our nose to spite our face sort of thing. Like I want to make sure that we get candidates in and, you know, so
I understand.
we haven't necessarily tweaked the qualifications necessarily, and this will be our third time using this brochure in the last 5 years. So
Uh-huh.
I feel like we're probably okay. Any thoughts one way or the other? I mean,
I think it's a fair point, and it definitely can be considered while we're screening that would be a strong indicator of, future success. I kind of agree. You should have some classroom experience.
and I feel like a lot of that will come out when we're having like screen interviews and final interviews. We can have that be a weighted thing that we consider when we have the final interviews, no?
Okay. Yeah.
We could. Yeah, we could.
Do you think we will get the wrong kind of candidates with this?
Well, it depends. You know, some school committees go with exactly this wording. And having done the work that I've done over the years and hired some 4 superintendents in Hatfield and seen, countless numbers of them employed other places, I think you're going to get someone who's better suited to the job if they've been in a classroom, and in particular, in my humble opinion, a public education setting. But classroom experience, I think, is invaluable for someone who wants to lead a public school district, and particularly a small district like Granby, where the interaction with teachers and paraeducators is so close on a daily basis. But again, if you all are of the mind that we should, I don't want to make waves, but I think if you're all of a mind that we would look at that in terms of the candidates that we're talking about, I think that's fair enough.
That's sort of my take on it, but I'm one voice.
Yeah, I think casting a wide net's not a bad thing. I also agree with your train of thought, and I think that we can screen in the use of a grading rubric, and that can be one of the criteria that we can weight against, and that is clearly something we should take into consideration for sure.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have another, just 1 or 2, very quick. And it's about the contact information. Jen, I had sent you a pretty lengthy text message. I'm sure you read it. But I don't want to, again, I'm not trying to push this or not, but there is something MASC offers free of charge to districts, and that's something called technical assistance. And what that involves is MASC will, the brochure looks great, by the way. The brochure doesn't need any work at all. Very nice job, Ginny. MASC would collect applications for you, would ensure to follow up with candidates to be sure that the application packets were complete. They would then turn over at the cutoff time the complete e-file of the completed applications and provide any assistance in terms of, well, I'm going to be there, but open meeting law and a number of other technical things that you might want some assistance with. You might want to make a call to somebody too. Again, no charge at all. Many of those things I have a deep understanding of, and as I'm participating with the board, I could certainly follow through on that. I'm not the actual field rep for Granby.
Tracy is.
It's my colleague Tracy Novak is technically your field representative. So if you wanted to have MASC just receive the applications, it also takes surprisingly a burden off of district staff. And I think everybody's well-intentioned and nobody's trying to get anyone in a district to compromise themselves. But in the case of hiring a superintendent, right, and particularly when you have an interim in the mix, people are very curious about who's applied. And they will oftentimes, just as a matter of routine, say, gee, do you know who's applied? I'm not trying again to really insert themselves in the process, but it takes the burden off of someone in the district who might be collecting those applications and know who's applied to be that individual's next boss, so to speak. So if that's something that the committee, you don't have to consider it tonight, but think about it. I could send you the list of details involved in this free of cost technical service. Unless you're looking to get the posting out tonight. I actually recommend it to a number of the districts I work with that I know that are low on funding and can't afford a full search, but it still gives them access to somebody who can talk them through things, answer questions,
So Liz,
that kind of thing.
I think that that's what we were intending, which is why we have
Okay.
Tracy's name and email listed in the brochure.
Okay,
And that's how we've done it the last couple of times. We've reached out to Tracy, asked questions. We ran our own search, but we reached out if we had questions about fundamentals along the way. And I believe that they typically they were sent to Tracy. I thought we also had someone send them here. Had some.
Anne Marie, it would be Anne Marie Martin is the person in the office who does that initial compiling of applications and ensuring that people complete the application process fully.
All right, because last time we were told to use Tracy's email, so we can take that part offline and make sure that we have all of that information correct.
Yeah,
We'll have
absolutely.
time.
I'm happy to provide that. And we would be looking to make the appointment on or about that last weekend. Sorry, my dogs are trying to play at my feet because, I'm talking to somebody that's not them. On or before April 18th?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
We're modeling after our last full search, which is why we're using the dates sort of structured as you see them. That's what we're trying to accomplish.
Brochure looks good to me. Again, thank you, Ginny, for your work. I love brochures with bright, colorful photos of students.
Okay. Anything else for this? So we can revisit this before at our next meeting again, but make sure that everything is finalized and they're happy with it before we hit post for the 20th, because our next meeting is before that.
So would it be a vote?
Probably. I don't know if we voted on it last time, but yeah, we probably should be.
Yeah, can't hurt.
Yeah, can't hurt, right?
Yep, can't hurt.
Our next meeting's the 21st, so it'll be the day after.
That was the 17th. I must have the date wrong in my calendar. All right, so we have to make our decision now, but we can't vote on it because we don't have.
You can just change, well, I guess you can change the date.
We wanted to get it out though, so.
We could have it go out on the 22nd, the day after the meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do that. So we'll have it.
Big impact.
We'll have that on for the 21st. Yeah.
So posting, it's just changed to the 22nd.
Yes.
That's not a big.
So contact would be Tracy Novick.
We're gonna
Okay.
finalize that
Okay.
between us and Liz, and I don't know if we just reach out to Tracy directly as well. Just to. Did you raise your hand again, Liz?
Yeah, so just one final comment. MASC would also be happy to put something up on their website at like tomorrow morning, for example, coming soon. Granby
Oh,
Public Schools.
okay, great.
So that's just a phone call.
All right, great. So we'll maybe you can reach out for that then tomorrow, and just have coming soon, and that would be great. Okay, anything else on the superintendent search? Okay, hearing nothing, we will move on. Superintendent update.
Okay, every 3 years, the Office of Public
Do you want me to read this since you have it
Yeah,
typed?
that would be
Okay.
great.
Mary Jane's fighting a cold. So superintendent's report. Every three years, the Office of Public School Monitoring, PSM, conducts a review in the areas of special education and civil rights through a process called Integrated Monitoring Review, IMR. You may be more familiar with the term TFM, Tiered Focus Monitoring. This year, PSM will conduct approximately 124 reviews. This year, Granby is scheduled for an IMR Group B review during the 2025-2026 school year. All districts scheduled for a TFM Group B review during the 2025-2026 school year will conduct a civil rights self-assessment through the web-based monitoring system, WBMS. Nicole Haru, our Director of Student Services, and myself myself,
Me.
and Mary Jane will be attending a virtual training session via Zoom on January 30th. Mary Jane will be attending a seminar tomorrow, January 8th, sponsored by the Massachusetts Partnerships for Youth, MPY. This seminar will focus on leveraging mental health and resources and legal issues impacting school district. This seminar is titled Building Capacity and Resources in Public Schools and will be held at the Holyoke Police Academy from 8:30 to 12. Mary Jane will update the committee on the seminar at the meeting on the 14th, which we actually know is now the 21st.
Yes.
The town website school committee page has been updated to reflect the changes in the committee. We have also added postings for the superintendent search committee and for committee members who are interested in joining the school committee. You can see the screenshots below.
That's it.
And the superintendent search committee interested members should reach out to us. And that's all she has.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments for Mary Jane?
You want me to talk, do you?
All right, Todd.
So a couple of things. So on December 30th, there was a car accident on 202 near Kendall, and the junior senior high school lost power. There was the JV basketball game was going on. The backup generator at the school hasn't been operational for over a year. It's my understanding that the generator belongs to the town because it's the town's emergency shelter. I did put in a capital request to be voted on at the annual town meeting in May to replace the generator. We knew that this was a concern, that we had the potential to have situations where the building was occupied at night. There is some emergency lighting. We are checking batteries in the backup systems to try to do the best that we can. But until that generator is replaced, the high school is vulnerable with any power outages. East Meadow, with its renovation, has a backup generator system. The water for the district is through East Meadow, so the junior senior high school does have access to that, but it doesn't have power.
So if we had a power outage in the middle of the day for the high school, there would be no heat, but they'd have water.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding
Yep.
that it's very clear to everyone what that means. Besides
So
just
I
lights,
am
no
90%
computers.
certain that we would have water. I don't believe that there's a secondary pump that feeds the high school, but in the event that there is, it might be on record. It's leaning towards.
Okay, for sure.
So that certainly has been an ongoing concern of ours, trying to communicate with the town they were trying to get parts for the existing one. I know that was an ongoing challenge for them because the generator is military surplus. Its original manufacture was 1967. It was rebuilt in the mid 70s and has been on campus, 15, 20 years. So it has certainly lived its life, its full expectancy, but it does leave us vulnerable. David Lukskevitz from our technology department is concerned that we had some damage to some servers and equipment in this building. We're not positive yet. We're looking into whether it is related to that accident because it followed that event. And so we have some equipment to replace. We are, well,
Is it
cameras are
cameras
not
Okay, that's-
impacted.
That's good, because then with lightning strike took those out for 2 years, so.
So it was some other servers, but not through our camera system. So we're looking to see what our best course is for financing that replacement. So fortunately, that wasn't great news. I'm going to be full of not great news today.
Awesome.
We have a major concern with our funding for special ed transportation. The estimate that I was given that we used to build our budget last year was significantly below what the actual costs are going to be, to the tune of around $330,000.
I'm sorry, what?
$330,000 is what our anticipated shortfall in transportation is. So I've gone through our budget. One area that we can project some savings. We had about 75,000 in savings in regular ed transportation last year. If nothing changes, that would be a portion of it. We have our circuit breaker is coming in higher than originally anticipated. So that is another portion of it. And I think we can cover the remainder from our special ed revolving.
IDA.
We have unused IDEA from FY24.
So that means that building our budget for this year, we're now even worse off because we have to use
No.
a more reflective number.
No. So that number has already been sent to the town. So my original version in the transportation article for FY26 reflects the more accurate estimate.
And how come it's so much higher?
The estimate that I was given by the former director. And so I priced it out.
Were there like drastic changes to that estimate that we,
No, I just think it was we were over at one point by about 150. After we submitted our original budget, I asked the former directors, would that increase be adequate for FY25? It was indicated that it would be adequate, but now I've certainly learned that it was not.
Okay.
So I personally priced out and done the estimate for what our FY26 cost would be. Barring any change in placement, the new students, we have I think a full grasp of what
And-
our cost would be next year.
Have we spoken to the town yet, or we're waiting to see?
So this is my first public.
Got it.
I wanted to let the committee know first.
Sure.
I am going to email the town administrator and the finance committee chair, let them know at this time, I think we have a pathway within our budget to cover it. If our regular ed transportation, if those costs are higher than, if we don't have the same savings we did last year, that 75,000 might be the area that we might need some support from the town.
Okay.
But that larger portion, I believe we have resources to cover.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yes.
Better than 330, so 75.
Yeah, you took my breath away there for a second.
Sorry. On a positive note, I mentioned the rural aid grant last time and how our first payment was at FY24 amounts, not the FY25. That was an error in the DESI's first disbursement. They are going to make up the difference in the second disbursement in April. So we will have our full rural aid amount.
Awesome.
So, and a positive note.
I appreciate that. It's good. Always good to end on a high note.
And so that's all that I have for this week.
Any other questions for Todd? Okay. We don't have a CES update at this point. We have two things already on the agenda for the next meeting, the CES representative and the vote for the school calendar. Make sure superintendent search lives there. And make sure we have vote for school calendar and superintendent search. Policy subcommittees for next time. Budget for sure, and policy, I think, are the two that we need. And we should probably, usually policy and evaluation, you guys kind of double up, right, George? So we'll have both policy and the evaluation subcommittee do a little tag team on both. We'll do budget. And I think that that is all so far for,
Yep.
for next time. Anything else before we vote to enter into executive session?
Good job getting over that hurdle. That was a big one.
Yeah, well done. Appreciate it. Okay. All right, if we're all set, then we'll vote to enter into executive session under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Part A3, to discuss strategy with regard to collective bargaining, as doing so in an open session may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the committee. The committee will not return to open session. Ginny, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Jen,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
George.
Aye.
Liz.
Liz, you're on mute.
Mute.
Sorry, yes.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Have a good night.